All right, this is a deck I've been wanting to build for a long time, and I'm excited that I took it to my local and did pretty well. My only loss was fairies. I lost 2-1. I don't think the deck necessarily loses to fairies. I just had no clue what I was doing, to the point that I was like, what do you call this after the match? And he was just like, fairies. I'm like, all right, legitimately good game, well played. You dropped a Herald of Purple Light on me. So anyway, into the deck. I'll try to go faster than I usually do. We've got 2 Gladiator Beasts the Quarry, only 2 in the main deck because there's actually a very bare bones monster count. Run 1 Gladiator Beast Akest to get back Chariot or Gladiator Beast Bestiari. Obviously, the whole deck is this basically. The reason this deck works is because I can run essentially 11 cards that are named Gladiator Beast Bestiari, in a way. Alright, and we got 1 Murmillo, because pretty good to pop stuff. And then the namesake of the deck, we've got 3 Gladiator Beast Retiari. So that Retiari Beat. So obviously everyone knows what Retiari does. It's a water though, that's the whole point basically. It also gets under bottomless, I guess, which is sort of good. Moving on, we've got 3 Elemental Hero Prisma. This is another card that's basically named Gladiator Beast Bestiari if I want it to be. And it's also a hero, obviously. We've got 1 Elemental Hero Stratos, which can search whatever, including Elemental Hero Ocean. It's obviously pretty good to be able to grab a water off of Stratos, then you have your Miracle Fusion live right away. Run only 2 Alias in the main deck. It doesn't actually really do anything other than be a hero and be 19 and get over stuff. Alright, we run 3 Gladiator Beast Proving Ground, another card that's basically Bestiari. We run 3 E-Call to grab the Prisma that's basically Bestiari. And we run the 1 Rhoda to grab the Prisma that's basically Bestiari. Alright, and then we've got 1 Heavy Storm. I drew that really well all day when I was playing the deck. 1 MST. Do run 1 Gemini Spark. This A is a very good card if you resolve it, especially in the situation where they, you know, have activated Bottomless or whatever on your Alias. But also, it kind of feeds your opponent misinformation about what you're playing. It can confuse your opponent if all they see game 1 is like an Alias and a Gemini Spark and stuff, and if you can manage to not summon Gladiator Beasts or something, you can kind of like cause them to side weird, basically. 2 Book of Moon, because ultimately this kind of is a Gladiator Beast deck, in addition to Book just being a good card, so you can flip stuff down, run it over. Also, I guess, if it's not obvious to people, you can book your Bestiari, and it doesn't matter that it's face down, because you can contact with it face down. 3 Miracle Fusion, amazing card. The theory behind the deck is sort of Gyzarus is good and 0 is good. You can access 2 really strong cards very consistently. We run 1 Mirror Force, 1 Call the Haunted, because there's the stupid play with Gyzarus being able to pop stuff. 1 Solemn, 1 Return from a Different Dimension. I didn't actually see this all day, but in theory, if they're, you know, bottomlessing your stuff, deprisoning your stuff, and Miracle Fusion, you can, yeah, do something with it. 2 Bottomless. I think this is kind of, you know, one of the best generic traps. 2 Gladiator Beast War Chariot in the main deck. This went off all day. When people see that you're playing GBs, even some variant like this, they were groaning. Literally, like everyone I played, I think. And then 2 Wabaku. Ridiculously good card. Makes any Gladiator Beast effect live, basically. Especially turn 1 if they don't know what you're playing. You just set a T set of this and a Gladiator Beast. Like, anyway, so yeah, that's the main deck. 40 cards, of course. Moving on to the extra deck. Alright, 2 Absolute 0. Maybe you should run 3, I don't know. I didn't actually ever want 3. 3 Gladiator Beast Gyzarus. Obviously, you probably don't need 3 of that either. You could even swap this for the 3rd 0, because you're probably more likely to actually make 3-0. 1 Gladiator Beast Heraclinos. You don't run a ton of GBs, so going into this is somewhat unrealistic, but I did end up making it, actually. 1 Cataster, Android, Brio, Goyo, Black Rose, and Stardust. You can't make synchros really in the deck at all unless you've sided in Brain Control. Same thing with Gaia. You can't actually make Gaia in the deck unless you've sided in Brain Control and you take something like, I guess a Fortress would not be awful. Or if you make the Yugioh, I guess you can make the Gaia. And then 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon is the last 2 cards. The extra deck's somewhat malleable, but obviously the 2 cards that matter are these 2. As long as you have these 2, you're doing pretty good. Alright, on to the side deck. Somewhat interesting, I guess. We run 1 Snowman, obviously for stuff that it works with, and then it's a water. Run 2 Cyber Dragon to get over whatever if Alias isn't already big enough. Run the 3rd Alias, depending upon what we're playing, if being 19 is good, or if Gladiator Beasts seem kind of bad against whatever, it's at least another body to put in. The 3rd Liquari, obviously, if GBs seem good against stuff, which they're good against most things, but yeah, and then we run the 3rd Chariot as well. Run 1 Brain Control. This is actually the 15th card of my side deck. It was originally going to be a Hero Blast, but then I was like, actually, it's good against enough stuff. Like, you could take a tuner, obviously, or you can even, there is someone at my local, at least, who plays Gladiator Beast, so I was like, I guess I could take a GB, actually. Somewhat similar theory behind super polymerization. I figured with frogs and everything running around, I could potentially super poly with their frog, or even just super poly straight off their board with stuff they have. I did use this against Fish OTK, actually, because Coelacanth can negate stuff that targets or whatever, but you can't respond to super poly, so it was actually kind of clutch. 1 Compulse. That said, 0 is awful against Fish OTK. And that deck is really good against kind of the format, actually. Anyway, Compulse, just to have some more removal in the side deck. Dust Shoot, I hate the card, but I'm coming around to at least siding it. Torrential, again, just more removal on the side. 2 Pulling the Rug against whatever. And then the last card's 2 Trap Stun. I love this in most decks. And then same with Pulling the Rug, I was gonna say. I love that in most decks, basically. So yeah, that's the Retiari Beat. Let's show it once again, yeah, the Retiari Beat. If this upset you or you enjoyed it, yeah, please leave a like or comment or whatever. One other thing I meant to mention, I think that basically because this deck is trying to abuse the fact that you can set Bestiari, which is a stupid play that it's allowed, so we're trying to abuse that, basically. And a cast works better with that than Darius. Darius is susceptible to bottomless, torrential, whatever, whereas setting the card is not. That said, Darius is really good, and being able to tag into a main phase 2 Bestiari anytime you've Prisma'd, that is pretty good. So I would actually probably change one of the main deck aliases to a Darius. So yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.